An unforgettable evening of soaring music from classical, pop to Broadway is headed to the Great Lakes Center of the Arts.
Glen Seven Allen is debuting his show, The American Tenor, on November 2nd. And here with us to discuss his work as an operatic tenor and what he's bringing to the Great Lakes Center for the Arts, we've got Glen Seven Allen joining us now from classroom in New York City at New York University. Welcome to the program, Glen. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to come home and do hopefully some great singing.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. So yeah, as you said, you're coming home. I know you're a Michigan native and you've got some ties to northern Michigan as well. Give us a taste of your background.
Well, yeah, I'm from East Lansing, Michigan originally, but I was really fortunate that my grandparents had places in northern Michigan. So as you know, in Michigan, I went up north. New York, where I live now, we call it upstate, but I used to be able to spend winters in Charlevoix and summers on Mackinac Island. So yeah, I felt very fortunate. And frankly, I never understood why we went back downstate.
That's a fair question.
Yep.
You also spent time at Interlochen and then the University of Michigan School of Music, right?
That is correct. My grandfather sent me to Interlochen at age 17 with what I believed was very limited range of singing. And I found out very quickly that I was a tenor there, which was almost like an out-of-body experience. And I started taking voice lessons at that time when I was 17. And then I ended up I was trying to be an athlete in college, and I wasn't going to be a very good one. And then suddenly I found this high note thing. And it enabled me to get a college scholarship and then make a living singing, which was a surprise to me.
Speaking of which, we'd love to hear a bit about that journey to becoming a professional singer, because your journey has some ties here in northern Michigan as well. Do your residencies?
Yeah. Could you expand on that question?
Oh, sure. So we're seeing here that you've had residencies on Mackinac Island and
yes.
the Sioux Opera. How did that lead to where you are now?
Well, I've always wanted to perform at home as much as possible and bring as high level of art and music and fun back to Michigan. And those places were natural fits because my family has a summer home on Mackinac Island. And Mackinac doesn't really have a tradition like Interlochen or Traverse City or other parts of northern Michigan of having arts institutions that are bringing high-level arts in a consistent way. So that's poco a poco in Italian. This means little by little. I've been trying to bring some of that to that region almost every summer for the last 15 years.
Wow.
It's just that I want to do more, and this is a much larger scale project that I'm doing now.
I was going to say little by little, but this one doesn't sound like a little project because you've got a 22-piece orchestra from
Yep.
Michigan musicians. Talk to us about what you are bringing to the Great Lakes Center for the Arts.
Oh, so what I'm doing is I'm bringing a piece that is genre-wise is known as classical crossover. The most famous folks that are currently inhabiting that space now would be like Andrea Bocelli or Josh Groban. And it's a place where you can bring a more classical style of singing, but not with a style of music that might be a little too far away from an audience's ears from something they're familiar with. It's like a happy middle ground between opera, theater, and popular music. And I think there's nothing wrong with music that's a little bit more populist. If I can't just bring an audience and start them with like an opera by Strauss or start them somewhere where they're a little bit more familiar with. And every single piece of music that I'm doing here, I have a personal relationship and a story to tell with each song. Because the songs are from 200 years. They're quite disparate. Some are in Italian, some are in French, some are in English. But having an orchestration that's brand new, that's kind of bringing the piece into kind of one overall sound is going to be a lot of fun.
Now let's jump into the logistics of these performances. When are they happening? Where are they happening? And most importantly here, how can people get tickets?
Okay, so it's happening one night only, at least this time around. This is November 2nd, Saturday at 7 p.m. at the brand new, glorious Great Lakes Center of the Arts in Bay Harbor, Michigan. And tickets can be purchased on their website, greatlakecenterofthearts.org.
And
And
Glenn,
I think there's a short glca.org.
Gotcha.
excellent.
And the show is called The American Tenor. But we could also, between the three of us, call it the Michigan Tenor.
All right, well, we'll do that internally for you as well. I mean, you said in this case one night only, but there's a potential for additional shows that you might be bringing back to Michigan in the future.
That's the idea here. Is I want to start off big and sort of a proof of concept where I don't have to really explain it, where I can show it instead of explain it. And I feel really confident that people who are going to see this and experience this would probably want more.
That's
Makes
great.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, Glenn, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for letting us interrupt your class and your lesson there at NYU School of Music, and we will share more information on our website at 9and10news.com. Glen Seven Allen performing at the Great Lakes Center for the Arts this weekend in Bay Harbor. Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks so much,
Thanks for your
Glenn.
time. Ciao.